All right, you hear the term first-time home buyer a lot, and you think, okay, young couple in their 20s. Fact is, there are plenty of first-timers in their 50s, in their 60s, or beyond. Ryan Gable runs and owns a realty business called StartingPoint Realty. You started this business 9 years ago, never worked in real estate, and then started a real estate business. How does that happen?
Well, Bill, what happened was I bought my first home in 2001, and I got a great home out in the suburbs, but the agent didn't really walk me through the whole process. When we did the home inspection, when we did the offer, everything was kind of, I found out about it the day before. So I just started to research, are there any real estate firms that just deal with first-time home buyers? The answer was none. There was none in this area. So I got my license, started the company, started a website, and went into it without any experience
before. You're an entrepreneur.
I went right into it.
Isn't that the whole thing? You've looked for the need and then figure out something to fill.
Absolutely.
And you did that.
And I looked at my own personality, which is very educative. And so I wanted to do something that I could educate the clients. And so this was a perfect fit for that.
And in 9 years, it's obviously hit critical mass and has taken off. How do you market to that subset of the home buying community, though? How do they find you? How do you find them?
Well, that's an excellent question. So primarily, a lot of times, it's all lifestyle changes. So a lot of times, we focus on engaged couples or newlywed couples. They're always looking to buy something. We target to renters, and then that's how we get even a lot of times this is how we get some of this demographic, which are the 50, the 60-year-olds. They're renting in an apartment complex, and they have a different lifestyle change that's going on. And we do first-time buyer seminars throughout the city as well as all over the suburbs. We are the only real estate company. We do probably 3 or 4 a week. Yeah. So that's always a big response. That people just say, well, I don't know if I want to buy, but I just want to find out how to do it and then see if this is a fit for me.
Then you put your arm around their shoulder and say, here are all the great reasons why you should buy, and right now is the best time to buy.
Well, the funny thing is we have a lot of clients when we go to their welcome parties, their barbecues, they always introduce me as saying, this is Ryan Gable. He tried talking us out of buying this place several times. We're very good about that. My clients will tell you it's a process with us. They don't come to us and say, let's get you in a car and find a place. As a matter of fact, half the time we say, hey, maybe renting is a good idea.
312-981-7200. You have to call right now. These segments, as you well know, are kind of short. I have people sometimes complaining they're so short. But if you've got a question about first-time purchase of a home, this is the time to call. We've got a good expert here. He's been spending 9 years of his professional life honing his skills in first-time buying. So 312-981-7200. You have to call right now because we do move quickly. So what are the excuses for not buying when you're older? Do they sometimes say, I'm just too old?
Yes. They say, first thing is they say, I'm too old. I don't think I can get a mortgage. And that's not true at all.
Why do they think that? Because their credit's bad?
They just don't know. They just say, well, I'm 55 years old. Who's going to give me a 30-year mortgage?
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
and so that's the first one.
What's the reality there?
Lenders there's no age discrimination. They will give you a loan no matter how old you are. Okay, so there's no issues.
70-year-old can get a 30-year.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, what we tell people to look into, because a lot of times they have a little bit more money, is maybe a 15-year mortgage is something that they should be looking into.
Yeah, we refied to a 15, and we're now within 6 years of owning our home.
Yeah, perfect. So that's always a good option, especially with the interest rate so low.
Are they afraid of just living in their own home? Because when you're renting, you call somebody to fix the garbage disposal. Does that intimidate them sometimes?
Absolutely. So a lot of times they've been used to that for so long, and then they say, well, how am I going to fix if the furnace goes out or if there's a leaky pipe? And so we tell people there's handymen, but from the standpoint of the exterior, well, maybe then a condominium or a townhouse is something that is better for you instead of buying a single-family home at the age of 60.
Well, we got a lot of people who want to ask you a question. Let's begin here with Mike. Mike, you're on WGN. What's your question?
Yes, I'm recently going to be closing on a home, and I've run into the issue with PMI. And
was it insurance of some kind?
Right. It was a property
mortgage insurance?
Mortgage insurance.
Mortgage insurance, right. And the mortgage broker that I'm using had posed a couple of different scenarios where there were one scenario on a conventional was, a couple $100, whereas on SHA it was like $400. And I guess my question is how can I get rid of PMI, how long would it take for me to get rid of PMI to take that off of my monthly payment?
Very good question. Mike, you're doing, so you are going to do a conventional loan, is that right?
Yeah, well, right now they're doing a toss-up between conventional and FHA. I'm trying to see what I can get qualified for.
Okay.
But the question came up that, hey, with either scenario, because I am not putting 20% down, I run into having to deal with PMI.
And how much?
The question I was told to the mortgage people is, hey, okay, if I have PMI, how long do I have to keep PMI? Can I get rid of it? When does it go away, or is it over the life of the loan?
Okay, so if you do conventional, once you get to a 70% of the balance of the purchase price that you bought, you can then drop that PMI, or if your equity gets to a 78% of your purchase price. So you have to kind of look and see what's going on in your neighborhood for that, or if you buy down to that 78% of the original purchase price, then you can get rid of it. On FHA, it's the same thing, 78%, but you have to have it until 5 years. Now, real quick, after June 1st, FHA is changing it that you will have PMI no matter what for the life of the loan that you have it. So if you're closing soon and going FHA, that's good.
Mike, thanks for calling. Bob, welcome to WGN. You got a question? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Thank you. My daughter and son-in-law are currently looking in the city of Chicago for housing, and the question came up, what is there a rule of thumb percentage of what your mortgage, all your monthly payments, assessments should be of your take-home pay? And if you have an opinion on whether that 401k money is included in that percentage, I'd like to hear your answer on that.
Sure. It's a very good question. The banks, what they look at is your total gross pay, and they want that to be around 34% of what your total pay is, not your net, because your net, everybody's different on that. As far as the 401k money, that's more for your down payment. So we tell people not to mess with that too much unless you have, let's say, 15%, and then 401k is going to get you that 20%, and just like the previous caller, that will get you that 20% down. That might be a good option for that, but otherwise, we don't recommend pulling out 401k too much.
Right. So it's on the first part, it's on take home pay, not net pay.
It's great on the gross pay, yes.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks so much. Okay, give me the thumbnail. What is it that I need to know if I'm a first-time home buyer, no matter what my age is?
We think the number one thing that you need to know is to get educated on the process and to talk to a lender. Everybody that calls us, we get them daily. Where do we start? And we tell them, we do seminars. We go to other seminars. You can meet with a real estate agent, talk with them, somebody that you know and trust for an hour, hour and a half, but you have to talk to a lender because 60 Minutes just did a segment on this, that credit reports 1 out of 10 have errors in the credit report. So you have to know, number one, are you in a position to do that? And then if not, how can you get to that point and how long that's going to take?
Check your credit report. You can do that at least once a year at no charge.
Well, the thing is, we like having a professional do it. So have a lender do it. So if you have something on it, they can tell you how to get your credit score up, as well if there's errors on it, then how to get that removed.
What's your website for Starting Point?
StartingPointRealty.com, and on there we have all of our first-time buyer seminars, as well as a wealth of information and different links, down payment assistance that the state gives you if you qualify. We have a lot of information like that on our site.
A lot more help than you may realize out there if you're starting out.
100%, absolutely.
Ryan Gable, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate it.